What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major news here for you guys in this video. Former President Donald Trump says that he can declassify documents simply by thinking about them. That's right. You can let me know your thoughts here on this. And a major stimulus provision proposed here by Republicans. Yeah, we got a lot of details here, so let's jump right in. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos here on our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. Here we go. Okay, so first up, former President Donald Trump says that presidents can declassify documents, quote, even by thinking about it. That's a direct quote from him. Donald Trump claimed in a Fox News appearance that documents taken to Mar-a-Lago were declassified while he was in office. Here's some details. In his first TV appearance since a court-authorized search of his Florida home last month, Donald Trump reasserted Wednesday that any documents taken from the White House to Mar-a-Lago were declassified while he was in office, adding that a president that can carry that out even by thinking about it. Quote. Take a listen.
Let's talk about where we are right now. We're at Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
Where were you when you heard that your personal home was being raided? And what did you think?
I was in New Jersey. I got a call in the morning from somebody that's here, person works. Sir, the FBI just came in. I said, what? The FBI? Who? And they go, the FBI. And I said, how many people? Many people, sir, many people. And I couldn't believe it. And they wanted to do it quietly, silently. And I said, what do you mean silent? They're not silent, because I watched the way they were so horrible to so many people that you know and that I know that are good people, where they just attacked them at the house. And they wanted to do it quietly. And by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we started getting little strange calls, like from a group called The Media, if you've ever heard of them. And they said, something strange is happening at Mar-a-Lago. There are people standing at the gates with AK-47s or some kind of a very sophisticated gun. And what's happening at Mar-a-Lago? And when I heard that, I said, well, let's put out a notice that we were attacked or raided or broken in by the FBI. I couldn't believe it.
They wouldn't allow your lawyers to go with them as they went through this entire
They wouldn't
facility,
allow. We sent lawyers to the property.
So here's my question. They did ask you to turn off your security cameras.
That's right.
But you didn't do it.
That's right.
Will you release those tapes publicly?
Well, they've asked me not to do it because they feel the FBI agents might be in physical harm, in danger, because there is a fervor in this country. This country is so tired of this stuff. They're really, and so I have not done it.
You could pixel out their faces to protect their identity.
Yeah, I guess they could do that. I listened. I said, look, I don't want. I really believe that most of the people within the FBI, out of the top groups, most of the people in the FBI, they probably voted for Trump. I don't want to have anybody hurt. But they came onto the site. They wouldn't allow any legal representation or representation. So they go into the rooms, like my bedroom, my office. They go into the rooms.
Your wife's closet?
Wife's closet.
Your son's
wife's
bedroom?
My son's bedroom, yeah. There's a picture of Hunter Biden and Barron Trump. Barron looks so innocent, and Hunter doesn't look so innocent. They said his room was raided, but his wasn't. No, it's a terrible thing.
Okay,
Not even actually believable.
So they went to a magistrate. Merrick Garland has said, he came out and he said, I authorize this. Now, what's interesting is they went to a magistrate right here in Florida.
That's right.
A magistrate who had already previously recused himself from a case involving you because he was prejudiced against you. Okay, I understand that was, months earlier. Why then didn't he recuse himself in this case? And then part two of this question is this. They took your passport, they took your medical records, they took your tax records, and probably the scariest part to me, and this is why a broad warrant like this to me would be dangerous. We do have a Fourth Amendment. They also took, 500 pages of attorney-client privilege information? Have you gotten that back, by the way?
A lot. I don't know. I really don't know. They took a lot. I think they took my will. I found out yesterday. I said, where is it?
Am I in it?
I think they took my will. It could cause a lot of problems.
No.
That could cause a lot of problems if that gets published from people that won't be so happy or maybe will be very happy.
Okay.
But no, I think they took my will. No, it's a horrible thing.
But wait a minute. But why
They shopped.
this guy?
They shopped. They went to a magistrate that hates me, a magistrate that recused himself not long ago in another case because he hated Trump. He's a Clinton person and an Obama person, and I understand that, but he hated Trump. And for a smaller case that was less meaningful, he decided to recuse himself. For a very important case for the country, he decided that I'll take this one. Now, he didn't do it because of his hatred of Trump. I don't know why he hates me, but he hates me. Maybe he doesn't like strong military, low taxes, good education.
He might like $6 a gallon gasoline.
Well, he's got it. He's got it.
He does in many places. Let me go through this. Before you left the White House, please explain the process. From my understanding, what I've read, you have the GSA. They pack all the boxes. Okay. Did you pack any boxes?
No, they work together with people in the White House. I don't know how you would classify them, but GSA was involved. That's government services. They're fantastic people. And they packed them. And not only that, and they brought them in along with people in the White House. I don't know who they are, but there are a lot of people working in the White House. They packed them up, but not that clothing, massive amounts of pictures. You know, they take so many pictures every day, and they give you copies of all this stuff. And it's boxes and boxes of pictures, newspaper articles, tremendous, even kitchen things. You have tremendous amounts of different items. Much clothing, I mean, shirts and everything, sports gear. So all of this stuff. Now, just to show you, there are many pictures of this stuff standing on the sidewalk outside, not in the basement. Not in the basement. They're standing outside. I was going to say like Joe, but I decided not to because I want to be a very nice person.
But magnanimous.
Listen, Sean, standing outside boxes, all these boxes, getting ready to be put by the GSA, I assume, into a truck and brought down to Palm Beach. There was nothing that was hiding. And if you look at the Presidential Records Act, this was what happens. You get together with GSA. Now, you have to understand, they bring it down, but NARA, and you talk and you work and you negotiate. I mean, they did it. It's not that old. I think in the 1970s, exactly for this. And we were having very nice discussions, no problem. And then all of a sudden we got hit very hard by the FBI.
Let's backtrack a little. In January of this year, the National Archives Record Administration, I guess they had been negotiating, or they came and got 15 boxes. My understanding is that they sent you a letter thanking you and your team for their cooperation.
They actually thanked us, yeah.
They thanked you. Okay. Right. And then, so at that point, what was your involvement in the process? Did you ever? Not
much of an involvement other than we had boxes. And again, many of these boxes had other things, you know, many, many newspapers, literally massive amounts of newspapers and pictures. But there were a lot of boxes for a lot of different things. But they actually wrote a letter, thank you very much for your cooperation, effectively. And we were doing that, which is exactly what we're supposed to do based on the Presidential Records Act. And Sean, we were doing that. And we continued to do it. And then we got hit by, it was really a break-in by the
Is it because
FBI.
it was so voluminous, the number of, papers?
Well, it was out. You have pictures of it. Actually, you have pictures of it. Pretty much, I think, many pictures of people. I think there were GSA, mostly people, some people in the White House, standing outside of the White House. Other people were coming up and taking pictures. If we wanted to do this, we'd do it through the basement, and we wouldn't let anybody take pictures. We had nothing to hide.
Did you ever at any point deny any access from anyone in the from NARA or from the DOJ or the FBI access? Because in June, my understanding is, the DOJ, the FBI guys were here, and they saw a remaining 10 boxes, which they ended up taking in the raid. And a couple of days later, they asked you and your team to put a padlock on it. And that day, were they free to take those documents with them? Was there any disagreement about that?
Yeah, you said access. I'm not sure they asked for access, per se.
They were shown the boxes.
I thought we were having a very good conversation. Even when they went downstairs, the attorneys went downstairs, showed them the room, showed them the boxes. I thought it was a very routine thing. And again, if you look at the law or the act or whatever, the Presidential Records Act, it basically said everything that we were doing, we should be doing. We can talk to them. Now, when they're here, we could do lots of things. I think we had good security. We had, as you know, we had tremendous Secret Service. They are unbelievable people. And they're all over Mar-a-Lago, as happens to a former president, et cetera, et cetera. I hate to use the word former because I have a lot of problems with what happened. But the fact is, and we wouldn't be having all these problems that we have right now, by the way, with Ukraine and Russia talking about nuclear weapons now.
I want to get to all
and
this.
all of that, because what's happening in the world is horrible. But we had good discussions as per the whole Records Act, Presidential Records Act. And then all of a sudden, we were surprised. I was very surprised. By the way, if we don't have good discussions, if you can't agree with them, there's like a process that you go through. And I think that the president predominates in the end. Mm-hmm. It's his choice in the end.
Let me stop here. I started this show with a monologue.
Yeah.
In that monologue, I pointed out Hillary Clinton, which is I guess the closest case in modern history that this mirrors your case, except hers were electronic. And you heard Jim Comey, I just played it, top secret classified information on her server. Think
right.
of all these email chains. Then we have the deleted emails, the bleach bit of the other 33,000 emails, mm-hmm. The hammers, the devices, the SIM cards, all those things that I mentioned.
Right.
So we have a similar case. And then you heard James Comey say no prosecutor would ever prosecute. But they're threatening to prosecute you. What is the difference between what you're describing with they found apparently 101 top classified documents in the boxes that they found. They found 11,000 pages that weren't classified.
But John, you don't know what they found, because they wouldn't let any representative. They had our lawyers. It was 100 degrees out. They had our lawyers standing outside, not even allowing them into a building where they had air conditioning. It's a big complex. And you had a lot of people here. I don't know how many, but you had a lot of people. They wouldn't let anyone inside. And, if you look at NARA and if you look at the FBI over the last 10, 15 years, and if you look at all of the things at the Justice Department, what's taken place, when you look at what took place with the Russia hoax, Sean, they spied on my campaign. What could be worse? Could you imagine, take Obama, if we spied on his campaign? It would probably be death sentence. They spied on my campaign even when I was in the White House. And who would think that this is possible? But they spied. So, we're not dealing with a lot of trust here. And the public isn't either. The American public is really angry.
So then this is a big part of what I want to get into. And that is, okay, I mentioned, for example, 33,000 deleted emails. We talked about Hunter Biden's laptop. We talked about in that laptop, Joe Biden is implicated many times by his own son. He didn't want to pay all of Dad's bills. Right. He didn't want to pay for his repairs. The big guy gets his cut. Tony Bobolinsky confirmed the big guy is Joe Biden. He met with, we now know, about 14 of the foreign business partners, which means he lied during the campaign. You don't see anything happen there. For 3 years.
Nothing's going to happen there. I don't believe anything's
So do we have equal justice in this country?
No, we don't, and it's very unfair. It's a very unfair situation. You mentioned the word prosecute. I don't think prosecute. I don't think this is prosecutable. Under the Presidential Records Act, there's no retribution or prosecution. You're supposed to negotiate. We're talking about documents. We're talking about documents that actually are being watched over to a certain extent, and I would say to a large extent by the Secret Service, if you think about it. But I can't imagine the word, you mentioned the word prosecution. I don't hear the word prosecution.
No, I'm saying they didn't prosecute them.
No, but I don't see how they could prosecute me. How do you prosecute somebody?
But they didn't raid their homes.
No,
they raided this home.
They certainly didn't raid their homes. They certainly didn't raid their homes. And when Hillary broke up all her phones with the hammers, and they did the bleach pit, all the things that happened were incredible. Well, you could also say 33 million documents or pages with President Obama. That's very questionable. 33 million, not 33,000. Happens to be a similar number, 33 million. They're fighting over them or arguing over them. The problem that you have is they go into rooms, they won't let anybody near them. They wouldn't even let them in the same building. Did they drop anything into those piles? Or did they do it later? There's no chain of custody here with them.
Wouldn't that be on videotape potentially?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they're in a room.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, because I think this is the next logical question, because the President of the United States, you, unlike, say, Hillary Clinton in her case,
right,
a president has the power to declassify.
Correct.
Okay. You had said on Truth Social a number of times you did declassify.
I did declassify, yes.
Okay. Is there a process? What was your process to declassify?
There doesn't have to be a process, as I understand it. You know, there's different people say different things, but as I understand, there doesn't have to be. If you're the President of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it. And there doesn't have to be a process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be. You're the president. You make that decision. So when you send it, it's declassified. I declassified everything.
So let me know your thoughts here on this. A little bit of context on a couple different things that former President Donald Trump had to say here. With regards to the FBI investigation into the possible mishandling of classified documents, Trump said he, quote, declassified everything. He also said he personally did not pack any boxes as he left the White House. The task was mostly performed by General Services Administration employees, GSA. He said, referring to the office that plays a prominent role in presidential transitions. A GSA spokesperson disputed that, saying while the office assisted with shipping boxes to Florida, it did not actually pack any. Quote, GSA did not examine the contents of the boxes and accordingly had no knowledge of the contents prior to the shipping. So just handled the actual shipping of the boxes, I guess. Trump's legal team has so far not produced evidence that the documents at Mar-a-Lago had been declassified. The three-judge panel of the appeals court noted in the Wednesday ruling, this is what the judges have said, that Trump's legal team has not produced any evidence that they have actually declassified this information. So Trump says that he declassified them, but the judges are saying that there's no evidence that they declassified it. So this is what the judges are saying. His lawyers have resisted doing so in front of the special master so far, and the U.S. district judge who pressed the team this week to provide such evidence, they have not done so. Quote, for our part, we cannot discern why Trump would have an individual interest in or need any of the 100 documents with declassified markings, the court wrote. Presidents do have the authority to declassify information, though typically there's a process for doing so, which can include coordinating with agencies or cabinet members from which the information originated to prevent possible national security risks. Let me know your thoughts on this. Yeah, and also as we near the midterms, we're getting a lot of people trying to say, let's finish up some things before the midterms and see what we can get done. And in this case, we're getting this from Republicans. Check this out. A Republican Congresswoman Hinson proposes a hefty increase in the federal child tax credit that would go out to 60 million children. It's like 40 some million families as well. Remember, this has currently been stalled in Congress the whole year as they have not been able to pass it and come together. Both Republicans and Democrats have had competing plans to pass the increased child tax credits, but nothing has come to fruition. Iowa Republican Congresswoman Ashley Hinson of Marion is proposing an increase in the federal child tax credit as part of a package she says will support women during and after their pregnancies. The 2021 American Rescue Plan, that was the third stimulus check package that Hinson opposed, that raised the child tax credits for low and middle income parents of kids under the age 17. Hinson's bill would raise the child tax credit even higher than those levels. It would give a 20% increase for parents with kids under age 5, and a 15% increase for parents with kids between ages of 6 and 16. So if we look here, it was $3,600 for kids under the age of 6, would be a 20% increase on that. So that would bring it to $4,320 per year per kid, and a 15% increase on the $3,000 for children ages 6 through 17. That would be a 15% increase on that. So that would be times 1.15, $3,450 for that. So this goes with some other Republicans as well that are in support of this or similar plans like this. You'll see here in a second. This legislation would also let parents withdraw if they want to. This is an option here. Their future Social Security benefits for 3 months as a loan. This isn't something you would have to do. This is an option to support parental leave after the birth of a baby. It would be better to just have parental leave as a nationwide plan. Remember, we're the only first world country that doesn't have a government parental leave program to support families. We're the only first world country that doesn't do that and actually pay, for, families to have this support. Instead, we want to have people borrow from their social securities. I digress. But the bill would make it easier for faith-based organizations to secure federal grant for social service programs, including those that advise and support pregnant women. Abortion right advocates say some of the centers seek to delay and confuse women considering an abortion. Hinson says that all institutions helping pregnant women should live up to what they're promising. Hinson's bill also would make the federal adoption tax credit refundable, which would mean refundable means that you would get a check back from the government whether you owe taxes or not, which is a good thing. Hinson's bill in the U.S. House is identical to one of Florida Republican Marco Rubio introduced in the U.S. Senate. So you can see here we're starting to get more and more support from Republicans and Democrats for the child tax credits. Hinson did not indicate the bill is an alternative to another senator's proposal or proposed national ban on most abortions after the 15th week of pregnancy. That is Lindsey Graham. We've covered that here as well. There's a lot of, that's a big thing right now. Senator Lindsey Graham has proposed a ban, a nationwide ban here to ban abortions after the 15th week of pregnancy. Hinson described her bill as a value statement and said now is an important time to present it to the public. So let me know your thoughts here on this. I'll keep you up to date here on everything going on here in our country. Child tax credits, Social Security raises, student loan forgiveness. 32 different states are passing state stimulus checks, and we really are just heating up here before the election and what might happen after the election here as well. Really a lot of different things going on here. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here on a daily basis. Make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos coming out here on our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. You can click here to watch my newest video on checks that are going out to millions of Americans. And you can click this video here to see my newest video on Social Security payments and raises to Social Security of up to $2,400. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.